Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. Before we get started, I do want to give a huge thank you to Pretty Diva for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to be using some of their dip powders to create a really pretty Valentine's Day nail set. So let's just go ahead and get right into the unboxing of these. So in this package, you do get 4 dip powders, and I will be showing you as I pull them out. I have had these on my channel before. The first time I used them, I did use them as acrylics. So if you want to check that video out, I'll leave it up here in the cards if you want to see it. As far as the packaging, I really love how it looks. It's super simple. And I love that it looks very minimalistic but also still very elegant. And I'm really excited about this video because I think the nails turned out very cute. And I just love everything about it, the application, the nail art, just everything about the process of these nails. So I'm going to show you just quickly what these colors look like. The first one was a white powder with gold foil flakes in it. The second one was a red color and it's super vibrant and super bright. This third one here is a shimmery pink. And you guys know how I love my pink nails and the glitter, so that one was absolutely one of my favorites. And this color I would definitely recommend because it is perfect for a Valentine's Day nail set or just all year round. Like, I'm just gonna hype that one up so much just because I like it a lot. And then the last one is a glitter red. But since the glitter has some gold in it, it kind of reminds me of like Thanksgiving, fall, or maybe like a Christmas vibe. But let's go ahead and get right into the swatches. So like I said, for this first one, it is a white powder with some gold foil flakes. And when you are applying it, it's always best to turn your finger over, sort of how I'm swatching these with the swatch stick. I don't just like dip it in, I turn it over and just press it against the powder. It's always best when you have like glitters or anything, that way it get pressed into the nail. And for those foils, it's easier if you just press those down with your fingers so that they lay flat whenever you go to encapsulate. For the red one, like I said, it's very bright and I love the application on that one. I feel like those powders are just so fine that the application is just so nice and smooth. Now moving on to this pink one, I love this color so much. Like, just look at those shimmers, just an effortless application. I feel like it's super even as well, and I really love how it's not really like a very bright pink, but it's also still very girly and sparkly. I feel like this is a good powder to use when you want to do too much but also not do too much, if that makes sense. And as for the red one here, we do have some more glitters. Like I said, I feel like this one sort of gives me like a Christmas and fall vibe, but it's also still very nice, and I really love those red glitters in there. So after swatching them, I was going to do a second layer, but over time I did start to see the more you let them set, the more they become more buttery and just more smooth. So once I saw that, I was like, these are just fine how they are. And you can still see like the true color just with one coat. I do love all of these colors, super pigmented as well. But of course, if you want it a little bit darker, you can always go in with as many layers as you want to. So starting with this dip powder application, I wasn't sure how I was gonna end up doing the nail. I know there is a method where like when you do apply your nail tips, you can like build the apex gradually. And I see Kate from Casey's Nails here on YouTube, and also Evie aka Long Hair Pretty Nails, whenever they do dip powder nails, I always see them do that method with nail tips. But of course, when you are using full cover nails, you can just do one layer and encapsulate. But with the nail tips, I feel like the apex is a little bit lower, so you will have to do that method. But like I said, I didn't know what I was going to do originally. I was going to do this red powder at the background and do the glitter on top. And I wanted to do the red underneath just so that it has a little bit more red coming through. But eventually, I didn't end up using the glitter at all. So for that one, I did just do a full coverage on my pinky using that red powder. And I just put down a dip base. You can use any dip base that you like. And for the dip base that I'm using, this is the one that air dries. This is not a base gel product, even though you can use that method as well. I feel like that method is a little bit easier for beginners because it gives you time to work with it. Or if you mess up the application, you can just wipe it away and apply more base gel. But for this one, as you can see, I did start to do a little bit of that method for my glitter nails because I knew for sure I wanted these to be just a solid nail. So I did one line going down the nail, and I didn't do it correctly. I know for those, like when I see Evie or Kate do that method, they do start a little bit lower and work their way up towards like the nail bed area. But like I said, I wasn't really sure on how I was gonna do it, but the apexes of my nails turned out fine. I did do like a little bit more off camera just so that I can build the structure a little bit more. But yeah, this dip powder application was super easy. I really did love these, especially the second go around. I feel like since I do know a lot more, the first time I tried them, I used them as acrylics, and I wasn't really a big fan of dip powders, which is why I did decide to use them as acrylics. But now that I've grown a little bit and watched a few more tutorials, I kind of know how to do application. And yeah, if you see a tutorial, it seems very like simple, but sometimes these things are a lot harder than they look. Like when someone else do it, it looks so easy for them, but when you try it, you just can never get it right. And that's how I feel it's always been with dip powder for me. This dip powder made it super easy. Like I said in the beginning, I just love everything about the process of these nails. So I did skip my middle finger because I do plan to do a marble on there, and I will talk about that once I get to it. I did my ring finger and my pointer finger with the pink, and I also did my thumb with the red one. And circling back to my pinky, I did just go ahead and use a little dust brush to get rid of all of that excess powder. And you want to wait about 30 seconds to a minute for the powder to dry to that dip base on the nail, which is why I always circle back and never want to brush it off too soon, because it could wipe away all of that product that you just placed down. And again, I'm just doing a full coverage over that entire nail. And even though these jars are a little bit bigger to where you can dip your nails in there if you were to do longer nails, I just decided to pour it, and I feel like this is the easiest way for me. So I decided to use a cupcake liner to just pour it over my nails, and it makes it easier to pour back into the jar. And I see Tia Bella Beauty use these cupcake liners all the time whenever she does powders, or when she uses like acrylic to do the pouring hack or just anything. And I had to buy some. I remember I wanted to get some so bad that I went to the store just to buy some cupcake liners, and I haven't really used them since, but now that I have them, I feel like this was a perfect time to use them. And I also feel like it's very beginner friendly just because you have the freedom to pour over the entire nail. Because I know one of the mistakes that I always used to make whenever I used to try to dip my nails into the jar is that sometimes I would hit the side of it or like push it down too hard, and it would wrinkle like the application, and the dip base would just dry, and I would have so many imperfections in my application. It was really hard to get it smooth. So if you are a beginner doing dip powder nails, the pouring method is a whole lot easier, and I would definitely recommend it. So if you haven't really noticed, I'm not really gonna make this like a full-on tutorial just because I'm just kind of experimenting with the powders, just laying a base for the nails. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not really doing the apex building method right, so I don't want to like tell you guys how I'm doing it and for you to think that is like the correct way. So I am just kind of talking and just going along with the voiceover just to let you guys enjoy this process. And dip powder is not really my strongest suit, so the only thing I can tell you is just to apply a dip base or a base coat and just sprinkle it on your nail to your liking. But I will say, if you do want a very nice and very detailed tutorial, I do recommend heading over to Kate, aka Casey's Nails, here on YouTube. She does amazing dip powder application. And yeah, I love watching her dip powder tutorials. They're so satisfying to see. Her application is always so nice. I'll leave her channel up here in the cards if you want to check it out, or if I forget to put it up there, check down below in the description box. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and continue applying all of these powders to my nails. And for these products, I will have this particular dip powder set linked down below in the description box. I'm not sure if I have a discount code for them, but if I do, everything will be linked down there, so make sure that you do check it out. And again, thank you to Pretty Diva for sponsoring today's video. Like, I really love these powders this second go around. Like, just look at how smooth this pink nail is here. Like, just look at it. It's so perfect. Like, honestly, like, I just love everything about this. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but just know I really love this pink one here. So back to when I started to do this application for the pink one, I did tell you guys that I knew for sure I wanted this one to be a full coverage nail. So I'm going back to the pink one after the second layer. The second layer was just to cover the entire nail. But for this third layer here, I did try to like do sort of like the builder gel application method to where I just kind of float it onto the top, sort of where my apex is going to be, just so that it does become a little bit higher. And I'm not sure if that's really a good way to do that, just because sometimes like the product may not soak all the way into the base gel or the dip base, and it may become like really chunky and hard to file. But like I said, I am just doing this for entertainment purposes. This is not a tutorial on the correct way of how to apply it, but I did see it help my apex grow just a little bit. But like I said, I did go off camera to build it up even more. But after I did start to float that product where I needed my apex to be a little bit higher, I did pour more of the powder sort of in that area so that it becomes a little bit higher. And when I go to pour it, I do go over the entire nail, but I do focus most of the powder like up at the nail bed area, and I just let it sit on there. I do also love to tap my nail just so that the powder kind of sprinkles out even, and I love that. It's so satisfying to see. And I do go in with a second pour once I tap off the excess, and I do focus the second one just a little bit more where my apex is going to be, just so that it has a little bit more product in that area. And by this time I was done with my red nails. I was also just about halfway done for my pink nails. I did want to go ahead and move on to my middle finger just so that this video doesn't take too long. For my middle nail, I am going to be doing a marble, and I did want to test out this little trick here where I seen Kate do on her channel where she does a marble, and I'm still going to stick to this cupcake liner, but in her video where she does this, she poured hers into one of the reusable trays, which either one works just as long as you have something that is like flat that you have room to dip your nails in. So taking those three colors, the white, red, and the pink, I'm just using a cuticle pusher to sprinkle some sort of in a line. It doesn't have to be in any pattern, but I just kind of did it here so that I have an even spaced out layer for the colors. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but as you can see, once I have them on there, I'm taking a dotting tool and just moving it around to create sort of like a marble design. And once I'm satisfied with how it looks, I go in with a dip base or whatever you're going to be using to apply it, and apply it to the full nail. And since this is a lot different, you do have to flip your nail over so that you press the design onto the nails. And for this first try, it wasn't ideal of how I thought it was going to look, but it wasn't bad either. But I was still satisfied, and I was proud of myself that it even turned out like that. You also don't want to mix these powders too much because they will just end up mixing, and you want to have it to where you can actually still see the marble. So yeah, this is how the first one looks, and I'm just gonna keep repeating this process, adding more powder to where I like, and you also can still reuse the powder that's already in there. So as you can see, like the red one, it kind of already has like that marble effect to it. So I'm not going to be adding too much more of these powders. I don't want to waste them. Also, when you are doing this method, since you are mixing these colors up, you do not want to pour these back into the jar because it will contaminate and you'll just mess up the colors. So always make sure that you do just pour it out once you are done. But yeah, I'm just going to be repeating the same process, just swirling those powders around in the cupcake liner and pressing my nail against the pattern to create that marble. I do believe I did it about 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure if I'm going to show it all on camera, but it does keep getting better. I just added where I want it to be. Once I do dip my nails, I always look at it to make sure that it's how I want. If I want a little bit more white in an area, I'll just go back in, put a little bit more white until I'm satisfied with it. And that's basically how I did that nail. So once I was done with my application, the last nail I had to finish up was my marble nail, and I really love how these nails are keeping its shape. Like, these powders are just so nice. The application just looks so nice. Of course, the middle finger, we do have a little bit of imperfections just because I did have to like keep going in with different powders and adding more here and there. I did do a little bit more to these nails off camera, but this process here, I'm going in with an activator. You never want to skip this step whenever you're doing dip powder nails. The activator is going to harden all the layers of dip powders so that you are able to file and buff or reshape whatever you need to do. So always remember to be very generous with the activator so that it goes deep down into all of those layers. And you only need activator for when you are using a dip base. If you are using a gel base and you have secure, you don't really need to use an activator, or in my opinion, but since it is a part of the step, I guess you still can go ahead and do so. But once I allow that to dry, I am taking a hand file and just reshaping these nails. I do go on the sides. I didn't have to do much filing. The filing part didn't take long at all, because you see how well my nails were able to keep their shape even after adding all of that product on there. Filing process can be such a long process. I hate filing, especially when I have a peel off base. Sometimes the nails pop off and then I have to take extra steps to reapply them and then finish shaping and filing. But yeah, this process didn't take long at all. It was very easy to file over these. Once I get the sides, I do make sure to go in and get the free edge. I also did file a little bit on top of these, going around the cuticle area. I do think I left a little bit of that in with an e-file. And yeah, that's all I'm going to be doing to file these nails. It was such an easy process, and I'm gonna let you guys finish watching the rest of this play out, which didn't take long at all. Before I go, I did just want to say, if you are enjoying the video, make sure that you go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you are here and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe. It will really help me out a lot. And also, if you're feeling generous, go ahead and leave a comment below. Now that we are done with the shaping and filing, I did go ahead and buff over the nails. I make sure to wash my hands to get rid of all of that dust, and now we can go in with the nail art and decoration. So of course we are making a Valentine's Day nail set. So I have these stickers here. I can't remember where I got them from. I do think I had them for a while, and I just decided to use them on my index nail. So I'm going to be placing 2 of the lip stickers, and then I'm also going to go in with the black outline hearts and just kind of fill in the rest of this nail, just because I didn't want it to look too simple, too plain. And I felt like the spacing was very nice of these. I love these stickers and how they looked. Once I had all of my stickers on there, I am making sure to just flatten them out. I did start to rub over them with my finger, but I am taking the back of my tweezers and just rubbing them down to make sure there are no edges sticking up, and once I do apply my top coat, they're gonna lay super nice and flat. Now moving to my ring finger, at first I was gonna do a very extra bling design using some red rhinestones, but I did just end up putting smaller rhinestones around the cuticle. So for that glue gel I put down like the center of the nail, I am going to remove that before I cure my smaller red rhinestones in place. For this part of the video, like my nail art and decorations, I did have a completely different look in mind, but once I put down my base and like was done with my shaping and filing, I did just kind of sit back and think of something else. I didn't really look at any inspo. Everything I'm doing here is based off what I came up with and what I thought would look nice together. I feel like that happens to me in every nail set that I do. Whenever I do my base, like I always think of something different, and the nail set just end up turning out so much more different than what I thought of. But after lining those rhinestones up, here's what they look like. I went ahead and cured that for 30 seconds in my light. Now for my middle finger, I don't know how I end up thinking of this, but I'm really glad that I did because it was super cute and adorable. Like I just love this so much. But for my middle finger, I'm taking some white gel paint and I'm going to be drawing on a tic-tac-toe game, and I'm going to be drawing on some X's, but of course my O's are going to be hearts, and of course my hearts are going to win, so I'm going to put those 3 in a row. And then for the X's, I'm just gonna put them in the random other spots as if they were actually playing a game. For all of this nail art, I didn't cure anything just because I wasn't really sure on how I wanted it. Just in case I messed up or didn't like it, I could just wipe it away and think of something else or retry it. But I did really end up loving it, so I did keep everything in one take. For my hearts, I'm just using a smaller dotting tool, creating the dots first, and then I do connect them with my liner brush. And since they are really small, I feel like you can't really make out what they are, but you also can. But like I was satisfied with it, so I didn't change anything, and I really love how this turned out. I just think this is just super adorable, and I was really impressed with myself. Like I did all of this in one take. So yeah, I was really impressed, but the only thing I would change was maybe make it a little bit bigger, just to have it covering more of the entire nail. But like I said, I really loved it and I wouldn't really change anything else. Once I was done with the tic-tac-toe game, I am creating 2 bigger hearts like on the upper side of the nail and one at the bottom, just to add more of that like lovey heart look to this nail. And let me just say, for whoever recommended I tried to do my hearts with a dotting tool first and then connect them, you guys are going to be so tired of me with doing these hearts because they're just so much more easier to draw. I actually love doing hearts now. Like as you can see, I can't even stop. And for Valentine's Day, you guys haven't even seen like the first of it. I plan to do so many more heart designs, so hopefully you guys don't get tired of it. But I just think my hearts look so much better now, and it actually makes me so much more confident in doing heart nail art because I used to be so terrible at it. Like the technique I used, they would be super long and just kind of look very messy. But yeah, I love doing my hearts like this now. And again, thank you to whoever was commenting that I should try my hearts like this. But once I put down my red and white heart, I did just get the idea to outline it using the opposite color, just to kind of get a little bit more contrast and make it stand out a little bit more. I didn't know how I felt about it at first, but since I went ahead and did it, I just decided to keep it, and it actually looked really nice on the nail. This one was a little bit harder to do. I think it was just because the color contrast, or since it is at the top of the nail, it was kind of hard. Like it was kind of harder to kind of curve in the top area. But once I cleaned up a little bit off camera, I did go ahead and cure that into place. Now moving on to my pinky nail, I did just go ahead and apply a glossy top coat because I do plan to do some sugaring on this nail. So I'm going to go ahead and get the top coat out the way first so that once I lay down my design, I can just sugar my design and be done with it. Once I did cure on my top coat, I'm taking my white gel paint once again and I'm going to be drawing on a heart, but the bottom of the heart is going to cross over. And for this design, I did remember like seeing this on a nail, so I did have to go back and use it as a reference, especially because like I'm doing it on my pinky and I didn't want it to look weird. So I wanted to make sure that I had the sizing right, and basically that is the only thing that I did look at like for a reference with this design. I did some cleanup off camera and I'm going to be sprinkling over some of my glitter. Once I get it on there, I'm going to tap away the excess and go ahead and cure that glitter into place. Right around here, I didn't know what else I wanted to do for this nail, so I did turn off the camera. And has been like the second time this has happened to me where I forgot to turn on the camera. I didn't realize until later, but thankfully I did catch it before I finished my last O. But I'm going to be writing XOXO at the top of my pinky nail. I'm also going to be sugaring that as well. So once I get that written on there, I'm going to sugar over my glitter and cure it into place. And I really love how that turned out. Like, it was just so neat, and I was just really loving this nail set altogether. It was just a really nice nail art day, a really nice application day. Like, I was really happy and just satisfied. And whenever I'm really satisfied with the process, it just makes me a little bit happier with editing. And when I have a really nice and easy edit, it makes me really happy about doing the voiceovers. So this entire process was just like so satisfying to me. Usually I do have a lot of trouble, and it's just a lot that goes on behind the camera, stuff that you don't really see. Whenever it feels like I'm complaining, trust me, I am not complaining. It just makes me super frustrated. But today I'm not going to be doing any of it because it really made me happy at how everything turned out. To fill in some of this nail, I did go in with 3 of my 4-pointed stars and some dots. I just mixed some white gel polish and some clear base or top coat and just kind of make it sort of like a milky white, and then put it in the middle of the stars to give it that glowing effect. Once I was happy with that nail, I did move over to my ring finger again. I'm applying some top coat to the entire nail, and for this nail, once I did apply my top coat, I cured it into place. I did go in at the tip of my nail, and for some reason I got the idea to add some rhinestones going across the free edge of my nail. And at first I wasn't really sure if I should keep it, but after looking at it, I really did like it. I thought it was very unique. And so once I finished lining them up, I got them straight. I did go ahead and cure in my light. And for the rest of these nails, I think I'm just going to be applying a glossy top coat to finish it off. I did do my thumb off camera. I didn't do it for real, but I just didn't really know what else to do on it. So I just kind of freestyled and did whatever. But for the rest of this video, I'm just going to be adding some top coat, finishing off my nails. Once I apply my cuticle oil, I will be back to show you guys what the finished nails look like. So once I finish applying my cuticle oil and rubbing that in to re-nourish my cuticles, this is how the finished nails turn out, and I am absolutely obsessed with them. I love everything from the application to the design, the nail art, the rhinestones, and I also love that they are white, red, and pink, like that signature Valentine's Day set of colors. And I think this nail art is just super adorable. Here's how my thumb look. It's not really my favorite, but of course we had to add some more glitter and some more hearts. Like I said, you haven't even seen the beginning of it. I will be leaving this dip powder set from Pretty Diva down below in the description box if you guys want to check it out. I think these products are very beginner friendly, and I really did enjoy using these dip powders. I think this set also has some really nice colors in there. Like I said, that pink and that red was just so gorgeous and so perfect for Valentine's Day. One thing about this nail set I did notice is that my ring finger is a little bit shorter than the rest of them, so it kind of bothered me. I also found it a little bit more narrow, but overall I love how this set turned out. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.